What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going over the Kansas City Chiefs getting the win over the Denver Broncos, ending their two-game losing streak at home, 29-19 over the Denver Broncos. And this was just a dominating game from the Kansas City Chiefs. Sure, the Kansas City Chiefs scored 2 garbage touchdowns, and in all reality, 6 points is really their only points in this game because those other touchdowns were just garbage time touchdowns. Everyone knew, even though when they scored their first touchdown, it was 20-13. It was a one-score game, but did anybody really think that Denver was coming back? I don't think so. Denver had a lot of opportunities to potentially run up the score, but Trevor Siemian is back to the old Trevor Siemian from last year. I was starting to like Trevor Siemian. He was making good decisions. He was making good throws. We've seen some greatness from Trevor Siemian with his accuracy and stuff like that. But we're going right back to the old Trevor Siemian that I hated, that you guys know I hated when I used to talk about him last year. I mean, I always talked about how I hated this guy. He was the worst quarterback in the league. I hated his decision-making, and I definitely hated his decision-making today. The ghost of whatever possessed him last year is back, and he's just not looking good right now. He was the definite reason why the Denver Broncos lost this game. The Denver Broncos defense played great. Sure, they allowed 22 offensive points. That doesn't matter. I mean, that's not bad, but I mean, the Denver Broncos were on the field a lot of the time, and they were able to get off the field, but it was Denver that just kept turning the ball over. They had 5 turnovers in this game, which was unbelievable. I think one was a fumble by Jamal Charles. We'll get into that in the game summary. One was that from Jamal Charles. The other one was from McKenzie on a punt return. He muffed the punt. The Anthony Thomas returns that one. Doesn't return for a touchdown, recovers that one. And the other 3 were for Trevor Siemian, and all 3 were stupid interceptions, very stupid interceptions. But let's get right onto the recaps, the stats, and the awards. Jamal Charles, from right off the bat, this is probably 5 minutes into the first quarter. Jamal Charles fumbles against his former team. Marcus Peters rips the ball away in a strongman fashion, just tears the ball away from Jamal Charles, recovers his own fumble, and returns it for a touchdown. Great job by Marcus Peters. There is one of the best corners in the game right now because he doesn't only do well in coverage, but he does well against the run. He showed that today. Moving on, I wanted to touch on something. That Justin Simmons call, that personal foul. I mean, I guess in slow-mo it kind of looks like it must have been a personal foul on Demarcus Robinson. But to me, I think it shouldn't have been called. And I think Demarcus Robinson didn't mean to sell it, but he did. Because you know how when football players miss on an opportunity, they just keep their head down and they stay down for a while. I think the refs actually thought he was hurt, so that's why they threw the flag. Because that was a very late flag. They waited like 2 seconds while he was down to throw that flag. So it wasn't immediate. It wasn't an instant reaction. I think they would have kept the play on the field had Demarcus Robinson come right up and he was fine. So I think Demarcus Robinson accidentally sold that play, and it wound up benefiting his team. But to me, I don't think that Justin Simmons' call was the right call on the field. I think that he led with his shoulder. I know it hit his head, but I mean, to be fair, this guy, Demarcus Robinson was leaning down. He put his pads down too. So what do you think is going to happen? It's football. So I don't know. I think it was just a stupid call. And then right after that, Marcus Peters, after a punt by Kansas City, Marcus Peters on the Denver Broncos drive takes an interception, and I think it was James Hireman or something like that. Jeff Hireman. He was split out wide for whatever reason. It doesn't look like he has any athletic ability to line up wide whatsoever, but Marcus Peters was just defending him, and I don't know how you think Hireman is going to win that kind of matchup with Marcus Peters, a top 5 corner in this league right now. How you think he's going to win that matchup, and how you think he's going to win that matchup with a throw you threw. He underthrew that ball. It was a 9 route. I guess you could say Jeff Hireman had a little bit of the upper hand. He was far more down the sideline than Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters was trailing him. But you don't throw an underthrown pass like that. On top of that, it was towards the inside. There was no way. You gave Harmon no chance to grab that ball, and that was the easiest, most dumbest interception I've ever seen in my life. Marcus Peters got the easiest interception of his life. Moving on. Then we go on to, when Kansas City recovers and, a chance to go up. By the way, Travice Kelce scores a touchdown on a beautiful slant and go right over Darian Stewart to score a touchdown there. And then when the Chiefs get the ball again to potentially put away the Kansas City Chiefs to go up 21-3 or 17-3 at that point. I think it was 14. It was 14-0 at the time. They could have went up 21-0, and Andy Reid does an Andy Reid type call, and he calls for Tyreek Hill to throw the ball on a halfback pass, and it would be Andy Reid's I freaking called this call, and he was smirking too. It was hilarious, but Tyreek Hill throws an interception in the end zone to Darian Stewart, and then that basically just kills the drive right there. But then with that interception, Trevor Siemian drives down the field along with Devontae Booker and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't Devontae Booker; he didn't come out yet. It was C.J. Anderson, who was running the rock pretty well, and they should have used him more a little bit in this game. Jamal Charles as well, running the rock downfield, and a couple plays by Demaryius Thomas. They were able to put up a field goal. It looked like they could have potentially put up a touchdown, but I guess they just couldn't do it. Once they got into the goal line, they weren't able to punch it in, so they had to settle for a field goal. They start trailing then 14-3. We move on. Trevor Siemian throws yet another interception, this one to Ron Parker. He was scrambling, and he could have gotten the first down with his legs, but no, he decides to just throw it to A.J. Derby, and it was overthrown. The first one was underthrown. This one's overthrown for A.J. Derby, and Ron Parker picks it off with a toe drag swag, keeping his feet in bounds on the sideline. Great interception there by Ron Parker. And then we got a rare turnover by the Kansas City Chiefs. We already had one with Tyreek Hill. Now we get one with Alex Smith, who fumbles the ball. Shaq Barrett with a strip sack late in the second quarter, right before halftime. We're talking about 1 minute and 30 seconds until halftime. And DeMonte Petco recovers, gives the Broncos a chance to score. But, of course, they're not able to. And, we go on to the third quarter. I believe this is the third quarter. And, they weren't able to do anything on that. So we go into halftime. And in the third quarter, McKenzie muffs a punt. DeAnthony Thomas recovers. And the Chiefs recover in their own. The Chiefs recover in the Broncos' 16-yard line. And I think it happened that 3 drives started in Broncos territory, and that's really bad because of the turnover. So 3 drives started in Broncos territory, and I think one or two of them were in the red zone. So that's not a recipe for success right there. The turnovers have to stop for this Broncos team, and then the Chiefs add a field goal to that, 20-3. Harrison Butker had himself a day. This guy was kicking field goals on over and over again. So we move on to Devontae Booker. He finally comes in the game after having he had an injury, and they came out and said had he not had that injury in the beginning of the year, he would have been the starting back, and he looked like a starting back out there. He broke off a huge run trying to give this Denver Broncos team some life, and he for the most part did it, but it just didn't come into fruition. Benny Fowler drops an easy touchdown, and the Broncos then have to settle for yet another field goal. 20-6 is the score so far. And then right after that, the Chiefs punt, and then the Broncos get another chance here. And Benny Fowler, a huge catch and run that leads to a Devontae Booker touchdown. That's his first touchdown of his career, of his very young and hopefully long career, because I like seeing Devontae Booker run. I believe he's out of Utah. I think he's from Utah. I think, ironically, that's also where Alex Smith is from, too. So, moving on, then Harrison Butker adds another 2 field goals, then goes up 26-13. Chiefs are up. And guess what? Trevor Siemian throws another interception across his body, trying to get to Demaryius Thomas, way underthrown. Kenneth Acker jumps the route, jumps the scramble route, really, and intercepts that ball. I believe that's his first game playing as a or first game in a while for Kenneth Acker. I think that's what the commentators were saying, but he gets himself an interception. And it seems like Trevor Siemian is acting like Oprah, just giving everybody interceptions. Then Trevor Siemian, of course. Harrison Butker, by the way, adds yet another field goal to go up 26-13. How surprising. Then Trevor Siemian throws the garbage time touchdown to A.J. Derby, and they fail the 2-point conversion, and they lose 29-19. I had a little highlight moment here that I wrote down in my notes. That Demaryius Thomas talking to Trevor Siemian. That's always nice to see. Teammates not being mad at other teammates, because it was really Trevor Siemian was the reason why the Denver Broncos lost that game. And Demaryius Thomas is such a great receiver. He definitely doesn't deserve a loss like this. You can't put it on him. But he was out there giving his quarterback some motivation, telling him to shrug it off, don't worry about it, la la la. And it was just good to see that, good to see some sportsmanship. Even with teammates, it's good to see teammates getting along even in tough losses. So let's get on to the stats. We go over first Trevor Siemian, 19 of 36, 198 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, was sacked for 3 times for a total of 11 yards. Alex Smith, 14 of 31, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Typical from Alex Smith. He now has 16 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the year. That's insane for Alex Smith. And he was sacked 1 time for 5 yards, that being the Shaq Barrett sack and fumble. Tyreek Hill had himself a pass attempt, and that pass attempt wound up being an interception. So his quarterback rating is ironically a 0. C.J. Anderson in his run game, and the Denver Broncos had a good run game. 15 carries for C.J. Anderson, 78 yards, 5.2 yards per carry. Devontae Booker, 6 carries, 40 yards, 6.7 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Jamal Charles, 8 carries, 39 yards, 4.9 yards a carry. And then Trevor Siemian ran the ball twice for 20 yards. Moving on to Kareem Hunt, he had 22 carries, 46 yards. He took a back seat in this game. A bunch of games, you see Kareem Hunt getting all these carries. He is the highlight guy, the big play guy for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Everyone's excited to see him. Anyone that was excited to see him today was extremely disappointed, because he could not do anything against this Denver Broncos defense, who lead the NFL in rush defense. Besides that New York Giants play where Orleans Darkwash shredded them, Kareem Hunt, LaShawn McCoy, you name it, Marshawn Lynch. Everyone they faced so far, Melvin Gordon, couldn't get anything going against this Denver Broncos front. And along with Kareem Hunt, who had 22 carries, 46 yards, and 2.1 yards per carry. Moving on to the Denver receiving game, we have Demaryius Thomas, 5 receptions, 66 yards. Benny Fowler, 2 for 35. A.J. Derby, 2 for 21. And the rest goes on and on. It was just a bunch of receivers with 1 or 2 receptions and like 10 or 11 yards. So not much going on there. But let's go on to Travice Kelce, who had 7 receptions, 133 yards, and 1 touchdown. I mean, he was monstrous, especially in the first half. In the second half, he took a back seat. Didn't really want to use him too much, I guess. Demetrius Harris was out there for most of the time. But you think about it, Alex Smith threw for 202 touchdowns, 202 yards, and Travis Kelce was responsible or had 133 of them. So, I mean, I'm not very good at math, but I think that's like 70, I don't know, 73 or something like that yards that went to other receivers. That's insane. But, yeah, good job by Travis Kelce there. Tyreek Hill had 2 receptions for 38 yards. Kareem Hunt, 3 receptions for 22 yards, and the rest are irrelevant. The passing game wasn't very good for both these teams, besides Travis Kelce, of course. So, yeah, moving on to the defense, Brandon Marshall leads the way for Denver in tackles, 8 tackles, 7 solo, and that's pretty much it. Justin Simmons, 5 tackles, 3 of them solo. Von Miller really didn't have a good day, didn't really do anything. 3 tackles, 3 solo. Was getting pretty held up by the rookie Garrett Bowles, who did a good job today. Garrett Bowles. Eric Fisher. I was thinking about 2 Denver Broncos there, but was held up by Eric Fisher. And he had 1 tackle for loss, but that was pretty much it. Moving on to the Kansas City defense, Ron Parker had 7 tackles, 7 solo, and he had himself an interception as well. Daniel Sorensen, the safety slash linebacker, 7 tackles, 5 of them solo. Justin Houston had a monstrous day, 6 tackles, 5 of them solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and just had some great run stuff plays that really showed that Justin Houston is just like an ageless wonder. This guy's a complete beast. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the defense. No one really else to highlight besides Marcus Peters, who had 2 tackles, two of them solo, 1 pass defense, 1 touchdown, which was a forced fumble. So 1 forced fumble as well, and 1 interception. So he had himself a day. So let's go on to the awards. Today we have the offensive MVP. That goes to the winning team, of course. The offensive MVP goes to Travice Kelce once again. 2-time offensive MVP for Kid Blue's award system. He was the MVP in... Which game was it? I can't remember. I can't remember which game he was MVP for, but he's MVP once again. 7 receptions, 133 yards, and a touchdown. A 33-yard long, and he caught 7 of his 10 targets. So great ratio there. And then the defensive MVP, I'm very torn between Justin Houston, who had 6 tackles, 5 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and had that. And then Marcus Peters, who had 3 tackles, 2 of them solo, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass defense, and 1 touchdown. So, I mean, Marcus Peters was all over the place. He didn't have the tackles for loss, but he had a pass defense and a touchdown and a forced fumble. So I'm going to give it to both of them. Justin Houston and Marcus Peters both share the defensive MVP. And my At Least You Tried award is going to go to the Denver run game. They had a good day running the ball against the Kansas City Chiefs. All of them did, including C.J. Anderson, Devontae Booker, and Jamal Charles. They at least had a 4.9 yards per carry. And they ran the ball pretty efficiently. If you take away Trevor Siemian's runs, he had 2 rushes for 20 yards. You have 29 rushes for 157 yards. So that is not bad whatsoever. They're averaging 5 yards a carry. So that's not bad. The run game for Denver really looked good. So they get my At Least You Tried award. And the Terrance Mitchell award, as you guys know, I think Terrance Mitchell was out in this game. I didn't see him play the whole game. I guess he's injured or something. But somebody's got to get the Terrance Mitchell award, even if he's not playing. So it's going to go to Trevor Siemian. If you guys don't know, I'm mixed up in my words right now. The Terrance Mitchell award goes to any player just having a bad day, and that goes to Trevor Siemian, who really, really had a bad day. I mean, this guy looked like he wanted to cry by the end of the game. So, he had 19 completions, 36 attempts, 198 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. So, that is it. Oh, let me go over the sacks real quick. I got to recognize the guy that got sacks. On the Denver Broncos side, it was just Shaq Barrett with 1 sack. Then we go to the Kansas City side of the ball. You already know Justin Houston got 2 sacks. And then Benny Logan, former Philadelphia Eagle, he got a half sack, along with Raheem Nunez Roches, got himself a half sack along with Benny Logan. So in total, 3 sacks total. And the Chiefs win 29-19. Let's see who else they play. They go 6-2. They're 3-1 at home. So I guess they played at Oakland last time, right? Where they lost to Oakland. I think it was at Oakland. Yes, it was. So they had a 2-game losing streak, 1 losing streak at home. So they're 6-2 right now. They're still riding high in the division, still leading in the division. I don't think anybody's catching up to them. So whether they slow down a little bit, I don't think anybody's catching up to them. Oakland just lost to Buffalo. Denver just lost to Kansas City, and the Chargers just lost to New England. So they are the only team in the AFC West that won a game. So if my computer would load, we go to whoever Kansas City is playing next. They go on to play the Cowboys next. That's going to be a great game to watch. That's definitely going to give the Cowboys a test to see if they're for real this season against the second best team in the NFL. So we'll see how that goes. Denver Broncos, they're 3-4 right now, not looking good for the Denver Broncos, who are second in the AFC West at 3-4, but they're not going to catch up to the 6-2 Kansas City Chiefs. They go on to play the best team in the NFL right now in the Philadelphia Eagles, so that's going to be a real challenge for them. You never know, though. It could be a trap game for Philadelphia because the Denver Broncos, I mean, they're bad, but we'll see what they do. But I think the Eagles will pull out that win for sure. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This AFC West battle, another great AFC West battle. Great to watch to see the Kansas City Chiefs dominate the Denver Broncos. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.